It is now connecting.
Yes.
Thank you, Amit. Thank you, Aarti. All right. So back to the presentation. So basically at one point in time in my life, I had to learn that, even people find it difficult if I say I was just busy doing something, so I couldn't take your call maybe at times, right? Especially if it's a boss or somebody who always expects 24/7 when they call, you should be available. Just say that I was in a meeting, that's more acceptable. So sometimes we call it white lies, but if it helps your life and does not destroy anybody else's, maybe a good thing to learn in life. So let's go forward from here. If my computer allows. Yeah. And this is a very funny saying. So just for some laughs, nowadays stress has also become something fashionable for all of us to be. If you're not stressed, then people feel the sense of FOMO, like feeling of being left out kind of thing. I stress about stress before there is even stress to stress about. Then I stress about stressing over stress that doesn't need to be stressed about. It's stressful. So the days we get up with some stress, we are like, oh my God, there is so much stress. The day we have nothing. And then we feel, why am I not stressed? So we stress about that. Am I like really outdated and nobody requires me? Why am I not stressed? Okay. So that's for just on the lighter side. So let's understand what really is stress. Okay. Stress is any situation that triggers a particular biological response. Many of us think stress is in the mind. Stress is a completely physiological experience, and there are hormones and chemicals involved, as we can see in the next paragraph. When your mind basically perceives a threat or a major challenge, chemicals and hormones surge throughout your body. So basically, this is what we call as a animal brain. So what we do is, may I request everybody to go on mute? I can hear something on the background, please. Thank you. So in case what happens is, animal brain is a very simple thing. What it does is, whenever it senses some kind of threat or challenge, it chooses only between one of the two: flight or fight. So run for your life or fight for your life. We still have the same brain within each one of us. So every time we sense some kind of fear, some kind of threat, some kind of challenge, immediately our brain is trying to decide, should I run for my life? Should I fight? And in both the cases, basically, the body goes into a system where it saves all kind of energy that normally it is using in everything, and saves it to either help you to fight. It brings it all into your muscles. Suddenly you get the strength that you didn't know you had, or to run. You suddenly start running for your life so good that you have never run. If you knew you could run like that, you could have participated in some kind of athletics, right? But then know that only it happens at that time automatically. It does, and that is because of the hormones and chemicals released. A small diagram, yeah, looks like a biology class, I'm sorry, but a simple diagram. And one of the most important thing I'm trying to do here is, I think if we understand stress properly, then we will know how to deal with stress also. So just trying to establish for all of us what is stress. So brain identifies a threat, then it actually kind of ticks on to the pituitary gland that is there, as it is shown here where it is. And then that releases immediately a hormone which is called ACTH. And that hits the adrenal glands, which are on top of our kidneys. And the adrenal glands actually release two particular hormones which are called cortisol and adrenaline, which gets into our bloodstream. And through the bloodstream, it reaches all different organs. So digestion. So basically it's saying don't waste energy on digestion right now. Run or fight, okay? So it suddenly stops digestion. So you will see if you're very stressed, your digestive system is impacted. Number two, tunnel vision. You would like to focus as far as possible to see. So many times you can see pupils. There's a dilation of that happens when you have especially big eyes. You can see it even better. So that is because, think of it, you're trying to see where to run or really to see everything in your opponent, that will help you fight. Then the third one is, just give me a second, something is blocking my vision here. Okay, so then the third one is accelerated heart rate, because it's pumping more blood. That is what you need to actually fight or flight. So it is actually going to pump. So your BP, usually the blood pressure as we call it, will be high when you are in stress. Then you have faster, right? My own thing is going off. Just a second, guys. Okay, fast breathing, right? We all have seen when we are stressed, then we start breathing faster. That again is really to help us run or fight. We need that to pump in that kind of air. We breathe in more oxygen, we release faster so that we can get more of that. Increase sweating. Because of this, the body temperature starts going up, and therefore the body sweat is nothing but the AC system given to us in our body. So the sweat comes and tries to keep our body temperature under control. Increased blood pressure, as I covered already, and the liver converts glycogen to glucose, because glucose is again required for immediate strength, the sugar, the whole stamina that you need. Okay, so this is just the basic physiological thing. So just a quick question in the chat box. What do you think? Is all kind of stress bad, or some stress may be good according to you? Sometimes good. Asad Wasi says no, not all are bad. Mahesh says all bad. Uday says no. Ziyad says no. Okay. Now, this is a very interesting thing. It's also the understanding that we get from some of the words that we have given a negative meaning to. I think that itself causes some additional stress as well. So let's understand, how do we decide which stress is good and which stress is bad? So this is a bell curve, right? If we have no pressure or a minimum level of stress, for example, when we have something to do in the day, you will see that the way you get up in the morning, there is a reason to get up. And that is why people say, if you're feeling depressed and all that, find a purpose for your life. If you're feeling useless, okay, I'm retired now, I don't know what else to do now, nobody needs me, find a purpose in your life, because that purpose will bring with it a little stress, because you have to do something for that, even if you join a painting class, for example. But then that level of stress, technically that's also stress, but that is good for you to get out from your inactive stage or laid back stage to the optimum functioning stage. So too little stress. Now imagine people who go to office, and I think Amit will relate to it the maximum, because in IT companies they have something like on the bench, right? Oh God, or some people who just do testing kind of job, right? Now they have this underload problem. They don't know what to do. They have to log in. And sometimes in the offline era, they have to be sitting in their office, and then they didn't have enough work to do. So some smart cookies learned some good things to do and got some extra certifications and all that. But a lot of them actually felt totally out of place. And because of underwork, they started having different kind of stress bothering them. And that is this. Then there is an optimum level of stress. Now, when we all have something to do in life, it actually puts that spring on our feet, and we are happy doing something. That is this optimum stress. We need that stress. Oh, I have to do this project, I have to do this webinar today. You think I had no stress? No, I had a little stress, but I was kind of able to enjoy that stress, and that stress was good. If I did not have a timeline, then I would probably never end up telling by myself when I want to do this webinar. But because we have decided it will happen on Wednesday at 11 o'clock, that caused a bit of stress, but then that was a good stress. But then what happens? If I go on scheduling such things in my life and don't take a break that I need to go into this green, part, sometimes a laid back, just relax kind of thing in between, then this optimum stress level will be same that is coming to me, but then my ability to cope with that level of stress is going down. So I reach a stage what is called as fatigue. Now, if I'm smart and I know when I reach fatigue and how much is it that my body is able to take, we all have different levels, different level of stamina that we have. We have to identify our own and make sure, suppose every 3 months, I seem to reach this state somehow. Then make sure at the end of 2 months, you visit a spa once or do something, have a get together with your friends once, take 1 day extra off once, just go to a movie once, or whatever helps you relax so that you don't hit the fatigue and you can retain yourself in this phase. Now, many of us say, but I don't have the time, I don't have the time, my next project is there, my timeline is coming, blah, blah, blah. We keep saying that. Then what happens? This fatigue converts into exhaustion. And we all have realized a time in our life when we have felt exhausted. We get up in the morning after 8 or 10 hours of sleep. But even then, we are feeling exhausted. We just cannot take. Or many of us have felt we have reached this level of exhaustion when we are busy doing some and delivering something. And after that, we need 2, 3 days as we especially age, I think we need 2, 3 days of recovery time. Not just 1 day is kind of not enough, right? Now, this is the stage of exhaustion. This is overload. Already your body is telling you careful, warning. But if we don't hear our body signals even now, then you hit this red and the last stage, which is like your burnout phase, where you have exceeded the stress that your body can handle. And this is when people get hit with anxiety attacks, panic attacks, anger issues. Constantly you're angry and you don't even know why I'm angry, but you're in an angry mood. Anything can trigger you, right? That is what happens. And ultimately, there could be a condition which is called nervous breakdown. That's like, very difficult to really come back from here to imagine we have to be in the second phase. From fourth phase to come to second is a very difficult thing. If we understand this and if we can maintain ourselves second, or at least as soon as we move to the third, make sure you are acting and not delaying this. Is this clear to everybody? Anybody has a doubt in what is the explanation given here? Because this is going to be important for the rest of the presentation also. All good? All good. Okay. I am going to show some symptoms of stress, because sometimes we all say, I'm stressed. But then, like, really, do we know, is that stress or is it something else? Okay. So we, as I mentioned earlier, we all have different things also that stress us out, and we may have different symptoms as well. So don't try to say, I get stressed out. Why are you getting stressed out just with 2 days of working? At my age, I'm working for 6 days a week. What's wrong with you? Please don't make such statements, because each one of us is different and different things impact us in a different way. Okay. Although the symptoms don't get scared, these couple of slides are not meant to scare people, but ideally just to keep you informed for watching it out in yourself and your loved ones around. So you may not have them all, but here are some things we may experience when we are under stress. Chronic pain. Chronic pain means all over the body you feel some kind of pain. And there may be some parts where you feel more near the shoulders, neck, back, etc., depending on your weak point, I would say, or a headache or whatever it is. But there is a chronic pain, and you can't put your finger exactly why some part is paining. You didn't get hit, nothing happened, but there is a chronic pain. Insomnia, which is also like unable to have good sleep, sleep-related problems. Lower sex drive, digestive problems. We tend to eat too much or too little when we are hit with stress. We have difficulty in concentrating and therefore also making decisions. Know that concentrating, focusing on something and making decisions take a lot of our energy. And when you are stressed, you are unable to focus your energy on anything actually, right? So this is actually an indication how we have to have some control on ourselves, even to do some things that we take for granted, like making some small decisions or difficult in concentrating. And now when we say some children are not able to concentrate, it is not that they don't want to concentrate. They're having an issue managing that, which could be the result of some stress that they are undergoing, which as a child especially, they don't know how to recognize it themselves and then how to share it with somebody else. Because everybody else will say, what else do you want? I'm sending you to the best school. I am giving you everything that you can even ask for, or before you ask, then what for you will have stress. So we kind of make these kind of statements. We have to be careful. Fatigue. Sometimes we don't know why we are tired. It's not even that we worked very hard in the last 10, 15 days, 1 month, 2 months, and then you are feeling fatigued. You just start feeling fatigued at all time in the day. Tired, okay? Fatigue is tired. So you might feel overwhelmed, irritable, or fearful. Whether you are aware of it or not, you may be drinking or smoking more than you used to. Okay? These are some symptoms, and let us look at some of the types of stress. There are basically 3 types of stress. Okay, one is called acute stress. Acute stress hits you when you have gone through some kind of a traumatic event in your life. Somebody close to you has passed on, or somebody has been identified. It could be you or somebody close to you identified with a chronic illness or something like that. Or you have lost a job, for example, right? These are all traumatic events for you, and that could leave you with some acute stress, which is for that time till you are able to cope with that situation you are in. Episodic acute stress is you are feeling this kind of stress frequently. The events are not as traumatic or tragic, but then any trigger can make you feel and go through the same thing as if such a big thing has happened. Right? Now, for example, if I have had a parenting where there was a lot of abuse, and then I see my boss getting upset with me. The boss is not doing that bad, okay? He just shouted at you for something that went terribly wrong. But then you are reminded of all the stress because of your bad parenting, and then you feel the same stress, same trauma like your earlier days. And nobody understands around you. The boss didn't even say much. He just said a line. Or it could be between relationships in our grown-up years with the similar childhood trauma, as we call it. Okay. Then there is chronic stress. So this is high stress levels for an extended period of time. So a lot of people, especially nowadays, who are working and are getting paid handsomely, I would say most of them are going through chronic stress. Because when you are paid a lot, I mean, I guess we have to now assume that, of course, ROI is required by the one who is paying. So he is definitely going to make you work and give him 10x time of what you are getting. So the higher you ask, I want 1 lakh per month, you have to give 10 lakhs back. That's a standard real formula, by the way. If you are earning 1 crore, then think the expectation will be 10 crore. Are you up for it? But then it's not that easy. Sometimes it even looks inhumane to expect this kind of output consistently. And that puts a person under a lot of pressure, stress all the time. And that could be chronic stress. Now let's a little bit understand more of chronic stress and how it impacts us. So chronic, which is a long-term stress, extended period of time we feel stress, then it can have negative impact on our health. It can cause anxiety, right? It can cause cardiovascular, that is heart-related disease, depression, high blood pressure, weakened immune system. Now, this is very, very interesting for us to know. Stress can reduce your immune. So you feel suddenly you are attracting more diseases around you just because your immune system has gone down. Chronic stress can also lead to frequent ailments such as headaches, upset stomach, and sleep difficulties. Okay. Now, let's look at some connection between stress and anxiety. Sometimes it looks like it's a chicken and egg story. I get anxious, so I'm stressed, or I'm stressed, so I get anxious. All right. So let's little bit understand what comes first. So stress and anxiety do go often hand in hand. Stress is the first thing, by the way, between the chicken and egg. Let me sort this one out. Stress comes from the demands placed on your brain and body. Anxiety is when you feel high levels of worry, unease, or fear. Now, do you see the difference? So whenever there is a expectation from us, whether from ourselves or from others around us, the big expectations itself can cause stress, but not anxiety. Anxiety is when you start worrying what can happen if you don't meet those expectations. I hope I'm making that part clear. Okay. So here you're worrying, I got late. Okay. Now reaching office early someday can cause you stress from previous night, because you are making sure that you have to do everything faster to reach there faster. That's a level of stress, but that stress is okay. You can manage. But what happens? You had set an alarm and the alarm didn't go off. And then you got up late. And then your mind starts rushing. Oh my God, I'm going to get late. What will happen? Maybe I'll get traffic and then I'll get late. My boss will see me. Then he'll scream at me. I'll feel embarrassed. I may lose even my job. That causes you to have even anxiety attacks at some time if you're prone to that. Some people may not get anxiety attack, but anxiety will hit us for sure when we start worrying about such things. Anxiety can certainly be an offshoot of episodic or chronic stress. So when you're stressed all through your life, then what it means is the trigger can be very small. The incident can be very small. But when you are not consistently in stress, then your ability to deal with some amount of stress is bigger. So some people feel this one is always so calm, that one is always so worked up. It depends on the overall lifestyle that you are living for continuous period of time. It's not just that one day, right? And then of course, if you have experienced stress too many times, then also your ability to deal with stress is less, and anxiety attacks are more likely in people who have gone through more stress in their life for one reason or the other. Having both stress and anxiety can have a severe negative impact on your health, making you more likely to develop again all of these, including diabetes and panic disorder to depression. Okay, what could be some of the causes of stress? Okay, so here are some of the causes here. Nor natural or man-made disaster. Can anybody give an example in the chat box of a natural disaster? Oops, sorry. I am not able to see, so I'm trying to see where did my chat box go away. Okay, here it is. Okay. Earthquake, flood, very true, right? These are the natural. Any examples of man-made? Man-made disaster? War, very good. Violence of any kind, true. Very, very true. Even the bridge collapse, right? Nowadays, that's happening in certain states. Like, wow, choked drainage, absolutely. Building collapse, many, right? We can think even environmental disasters are at some point man-made, right? All right. Then let's look at, sorry. Okay. Chronic illness. Okay. Now, not only when you have some kind of chronic illness, but if you are living with somebody who has a chronic illness, that can be very stressful as well. Surviving even a life-threatening accident or illness, you might have survived, but still that's a huge cause for you to go through stress. So many times it is suggested that when you go through any such episode, even if you have survived that, you may be requiring some form of therapy or counseling after that, right? Being the victim of a crime can be a huge thing. Experiencing familial stresses, which means in the family related thing, abusive relationship, unhappy marriage, prolonged divorce proceedings, child custody issues, etc. As I said, caregiving for a loved one with chronic illness like dementia can also be very stressful. Living in poverty or being homeless can be definitely stressful. Working in a dangerous profession. Can anybody give examples of what could be a dangerous profession? Absolutely. Firefighter is a common one that came up. Very true, right? It's a dangerous profession. Having little work life balance, working for long hours, or having a job you hate. Military deployment, army, military, those kind of job. Yeah, as Mahesh also said, CRPF or mining industry. Yeah, they are like. So there is no end to the things that can cause a person stress because they are as varied as people are. Whatever the cause, the effect on the body can be serious if left unmanaged. So, again, one of the biggest things I wanted to share here is don't jump into conclusions or judge somebody else for the stress that they may have. Because your life is not the same as theirs, and their life has not been the same as yours. They are they, you are you, and that's the uniqueness. So, never, kind of put everything in the same basket and feel everybody should behave the same. All right, so let's go forward. So stress can be caused by all kind of stuff. So what are some of the things that you see in this image? Can you put it in the chat box again, please? Some things that can cause us stress strangely, but by themselves they are not stress. What do we see in this picture? Oops, I'm sorry. Yes, news, messages, information download, news about COVID. Yeah, oh my God, where people are dying was a huge stressor. 9. Okay, Sanjay says 9. I'm just trying to understand what is 9. Ailment. Uh, Sanjay, would you like to? Yeah, we stopped watching news. True. So, Sanjay, if it was meant to be 9, you can please unmute and tell what is 9. I don't know what that means. But
Sorry,
yeah.
I said I put in o'clock news instead of 9 o'clock news. That's why I just
Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay, now you get it. Yeah, o'clock also I was not sure, but at least I got the news part, so I just read news. Yes, but we all got it right. What we see in that television box, television by itself is not bad, but what we consume, what content we get is what could cause stress. Mobile, same story. What are we doing with that mobile is important. Are we keeping it away when we don't need? And diseases of all kinds, etc., etc. Right now, let's a little bit. Let us focus on stress at work. Now, a lot of us are there who have been working, so let us look at why do we feel, some of us have lost all the hair we have, and some of us are pulling the hair, whatever is remaining, like this. Absolutely. Aarti really wants to do that and see how it feels. Yeah. And you know what? This work, although we feel only people who go to work may feel like this, even homemakers feel exactly like this when managing the house is their workplace, right? So, wow. And everything where it is said, colleagues, peers, please read as family members, those who are homemakers or who have been also homemakers, okay? Now, very interesting definition of work stress I found, which is from United States National Institute of Occupational Safety and Health, Cincinnati, and they gave this in 1999. Beautifully said, work stress can be defined as the harmful physical and emotional responses that occur when the requirements of the job do not match the capabilities. They have super simplified this, right? Mismatch of capabilities and demand or expectations. Number two, when they don't match the capabilities, resources, or needs of the worker. Work stress can lead to poor health and even injury. Now we can see, if you define stress like this and work stress like this, why it is up to the employers to make sure that employees are not feeling stress. Because even if you hired a employee and then put them in a job which is not matching with their capabilities, You are responsible, not them. Number two, if you're not providing them with the resources they need to do their work, who is responsible for the stress? You, not them. Right? And the needs of the worker. Now, each one of us may be going through different situation. I have a family member who needs more attention from me. I need to go back home faster, but I can probably work from home. You might have to make a lot of exceptions. Amit ji will know, he has managed big workforce under him, even internationally, so he would understand what it means. And you know what? A lot of different conditions, right? Women, now they have young children, they need to go back home, but they can probably still do the job, but they might have to be given special considerations. Now, who can do that? It is the employer and not the employee. Okay. And then work stress, of course, can lead to consequences which can relate to poor health and even injury, which some of them may be not easy to reverse. So this becomes a huge occupational hazard with any kind of job that we are into, right? So that's bad hair day for the lady in picture, I believe. So Sanjay, yes, true. That is correct. And let's go forward. Some of the common reasons. Heavy workload. You might have heard many people say, oh my God, I feel so stressed in my job because there is too much work. Now, I want to give you another dimension. Is there really too much work, or again a mismatch between the capacity, the resources at hand, and the work given? So you feel overloaded. Number two, long working hours. Definitely. Now, even if you can manage to put in long working hours once in a while at your job, that's okay. But when you start doing that day in and day out, it impacts you, your health, and your family and other relationships, because you cut out your time from your social circles, from your friendships, from your spending time with your children, with your spouse. That's not going to work out when you do it at a long stretch. So this is a no-no and definitely causes a lot of workplace stress, low morale within the workplace. Now, as they say, people, leave the organization because of their boss and not because of anything else. So low morale can be caused by the people who you're working with also, but it could also be because of the culture that is there in the organization. Sometimes in the name of professionalism, somewhere the human aspect seems missing. And those are kind of things that can also be this, okay? Let's look at some of the other causes that may be career concern. I'm going to be quick at explaining this a little. So what it means is I've joined a job, but I don't know my career path. Concern. Role ambiguity. I have joined a job, but I don't understand clearly what are the expectations in my job from me. Rotating work shifts. Many employers do this thinking it will help the employees. But frankly, the body clock gets adjusted to one shift, one kind of working, one kind of sleeping pattern. And then when you keep changing, that is actually very stressful for the concerned person. Role conflict. When you feel that there are too many people who think that's their job to do something, and then at one point when they realize that's not clear, then they all sometimes give up thinking the other person is doing, and then they all get into soup. So that kind of role conflict is definitely stressful. Occupational demands. Now imagine if you're a doctor, or if, as we said, fireman, or one of those kind of army professional, then there are demands. Anytime in the night, day, you can get a call about some patient going through difficult time, operation if you're a surgeon, etc. So those are occupational demand itself, or many occupations expect you to travel a lot. So the whole, time difference to everything that you need to do, lack of participation in decision making. Now, this is very important. Now, many times nowadays, especially young fellows, they feel that as soon as they are out of college and they are in a job, they feel they should also be involved in decision making. But the employers may be thinking, just now you be an observer, absorb what you can absorb, and the specific task that is being given to you, you start doing that with excellence, focus on that, and when you are ready to go next step, we will involve you in decision making. But sometimes when people are very keen to give ideas and wanting to feel that they are being considered, they expect this. So again, this I think needs more of transparent open communication on why you are involving or not involving somebody at some stage. Work overload, we already discussed. Work underload, also, we already discussed. Poor working conditions, no AC, AC being too effective, like it puts you, like almost makes you freeze. A lot of us have gone through that as well, I'm sure, right? So all those kind of things, unhygienic, no toilets, not good toilets, etc., can be very, very stressful. Lack of group cohesiveness when you can't get along with people that you're supposed to work in your organization. Interpersonal and intergroup conflict. This actually reminds me of really one thing that I experienced. Interpersonal, easy to understand. I don't get along with Uday and I'm supposed to work with him. Okay. But intergroup is interesting. Uday and Amit are two bosses, okay, and handling two different verticals. And me and Aarti are working under them. But we heard that they both got into a tiff in some meeting. We actually don't even know what that tiff was about. But then we observe, okay, that they both are not in talking terms. They are no longer smiling and greeting each other. Now, me and Aarti are confused. Are we okay to greet each other or not? Can we be friends or not? So we also start looking in different directions, and groupism starts happening in office. It's kind of very funny, but it happens. Oh, oops, sorry. Okay. Organizational changes. So we all know change. When any kind of change happens in our personal life or professional life, it's one of the big threats that our mind perceives. What will happen? How will the new bosses be? How will things change for me, etc. So that's stress. Lack of social support. Now, when we feel I need to work for long hours in my office, but I have somebody back home who will take care of some things that need to be taken care of, that's a huge, stress relief for us. But if we don't have that support system, then that could be a big issue. So I hope I'm able to explain briefly on all this. Let's go forward. So now the real aspect of then how should we manage stress? What are some of the options? So please hear this video and get a clear under 2 minutes only. And let's understand what are some easy ways of dealing. Please make note of especially the coping mechanisms.
Archana, no sound.
Sorry,
No sound.
you're not getting sound, is it? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Just give me one moment, guys. I think I need to. Oh, sorry. Okay, one of the ways I know, I think I should have ticked something which I haven't, but anyways, I'll take care of it right now. Like this.
Hi everyone, it's Yanis here, and in this video we will explore what is stress. This invisible enemy can often hold you back from achieving the things that you want. So let's take a look at how to deal with it. If this is your first time on this channel, then make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon to get updates on my latest videos about time management and productivity. Stress is your body's way of responding to pressure from a situation or life's event. Little stress can be good as it can help you to take action, but constantly experiencing stress will have a negative impact on you. Let's say that the deadline is approaching for the project that you have been working on, so you decide to put in extra work to finish it. This kind of stress is good. But if you wait till the last minute and then you realize that you don't have enough time to finish the job, then that will only make the situation worse. Stress is usually accompanied by feelings of worry, and when you're worried, you'll be struggling to focus on the tasks that need to get done. So where the stress comes from? Of course, it can come from different life situations, like when you lose your job or someone in your family gets sick. But people also get stressed out because they don't plan, and eventually they realize that they can't accomplish things that they want. Here are some of the strategies that you can use to reduce stress in your life. First, plan. The first and most important thing is to become organized, and you can achieve that by simply planning your time. Second, build strong relationships. When you experience stress, it is good that you can speak with someone instead of keeping it inside of you. Third, meditation. When you start feeling stressed, it's a great strategy to calm down your body and mind through practice of meditation. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I was
Okay. So I'm going to play one more video, which is called ABC technique.
How well do you deal with setbacks at work? Do you let them throw you off course and affect the rest of your day? Or are you the type of person who deals with adversity constructively? Research shows that people who are optimists handle setbacks more effectively than those who are pessimists. This can affect how successful they are in life. Fortunately, you can learn how to be more optimistic. One way to do this is by using Dr. Martin Seligman's ABC technique. ABC stands for adversity, beliefs, and consequences. In short, we first encounter adversity. How we think about this creates beliefs. These beliefs then influence what we do next, so they become consequences. For example, imagine your boss gave you some negative feedback on a presentation you made to the board. This is adversity. If you're pessimistic, you might then think you're no good at your job. This is a belief. You then avoid giving presentations, which affects your career progression. This is a consequence. The key point happens between A and B. When you encounter adversity, how you explain it to yourself has a direct impact on your mindset and on your relationships. Dr. Seligman calls this your explanatory style. He says this heavily influences whether you're optimistic or pessimistic. There are several steps you can take if you want to develop a more positive explanatory style. First, pay attention to your inner dialogue by writing down your thoughts whenever you encounter a stressful or negative situation. Describe what happened, what beliefs you had during and after the adverse experience, and the consequences of this. After you've noted several situations, look at what you've written. What patterns do you see here? What are the consequences of your negative thinking? You can then think about how to manage your negative ABC patterns. One technique you can use is distraction. For instance, try wearing a rubber band around your wrist. Whenever you go through a stressful situation and you catch yourself having negative thoughts, snap it against your skin. The tiny sting will remind you to step out of the cycle of negative thinking. Now you can challenge your negative beliefs by intentionally looking for positives in your situation. For example, you could focus on what you learn so that you can deal with similar situations better next time. To find out more about the ABC.
So in the previous video, of course, I am personally not so much of wearing a rubber band and hitting myself. When he was doing that, I was like, ouch, no, not for me. But anyway, that's a personal choice. My God, people, especially guys, do some things that are totally non-digestible by, I think, at least people like me, okay? Yeah, I'm calling it gender because till date in my 50 plus years of life, I'm not seen a girl or a woman do directly, but I could be totally wrong, okay? I think nowadays girls could also be doing. So there was this guy who was sitting in my session, and what he was doing was, he had a small wound on his hand, near the wrist. And suddenly one time I saw that little bit of blood was coming out of that. So I thought, oh my God. So I actually kind of, told him, oh my God, there's some blood coming out. He said, I know that. I only did that. I said, what's wrong with you? So he said, I was feeling sleepy. So this is a wound that was drying. I just picked it so that I wake up. I'm just like, oh, okay. So that's like the rubber band. Okay. So I don't know if some people do that. And looking at Amit's face, definitely it's not a guy's thing also. It's just that in my life, I've seen some guys do this kind of funny stuff. Okay. So now the thing is, instead of that, what you can do that I have been using in my life is really when you are very stressed, I have gone out for a brisk walk, or what they say is sweat it out. So you can hit the gym, you can go for a jog, you can go for a brisk walk that helps you sweat out. That helps. Number two, completely distract yourself. And like I watch TV or I play a game or something like that, or make a call, completely personal call or something, so that it completely takes my mind off the issue that is bothering, and then I can come back and look at that and find a solution. Okay. So I know I have completely exceeded the time, fellows. So please bear with me for another 5-10 minutes. I think it will be worth it. Last couple of slides, and then if there are any questions. And for the rest of you guys, if you have to, go, please feel free. And of course, the recording will be uploaded. Okay. Stress management, some of the other, areas. Now, just very quickly to explain, actually, this is kind of the last slide, but I just want to explain in 2 minutes. Therapy is the first one I would like to take up. There are certain kind of stresses, and especially if we are in the last stage of this bell curve, guys. This stage is not something when you can simply put rubber band or sit in meditation. You need some kind of therapy or medication, and we should definitely not hesitate going for some kind. Now imagine stress manifestations, I'm not going to read it all, but can be as many as these, and these may also not be covering it all. And different kind of therapies may include all this, including hypnotherapy and all that, so that the qualified doctors would know what to treat you with. But if you need it, you should go for it. Number 2, spa. When should you go for a spa? Ideally, as I said, when you are feeling you're going to touch the fatigue, but now within 3 months I should hit a spa. Go for that. And spa treatments can be many. Again, I'm not going to talk about each one of them. I personally like to go once I got introduced because of my life-threatening stage that I had brought myself into, again because of stress. I had to go through Ayurvedic massage, different formats, so that I could come back to life. But then I realized that is a big therapy for me that works, and I go for relaxation and rejuvenation from time to time. The third one is exercise. Very, very important. Again, like stress releases certain kind of hormones, which really causes that stress anxiety kind of thing. Exercise also releases different kind of chemicals and hormones, like all the ones mentioned here, that takes care of different issues that the stress may, and it kind of counteracts with that. So these are some examples of that. And ideally, exercise should be something that you do all through. You don't wait for fatigue or exhaustion or anything. Just do it regularly. It will be counteracting with the stress syndrome. Hobbies are good distractions, something that makes you happy, and hobbies can help you release what we call as the happy hormones. Okay. So when you genuinely are happy, when you're playing a game or doing something, painting, whatever, many different hobbies can be there, and they should also be taken up so that you can meet new people. I remember Aarti, she joined a dance class at the age of 55 or so, and not about dance. I think what it helped her was to meet new people, make new friends, and to just learn some new skill that she was always interested in. She doesn't have to be a professional in that, but that helped. I took up music and so on and so forth, right? So it's very, very important that we all make time for hobbies, okay? And again, hobbies, I would again say, either you make it in the very beginning and continue with it to find a time and routine for it. Otherwise, when you're overly stressed, if you think, I will take, half an hour per week now to deal with a hobby, that will, it will add to your stress, trust me. So I did that. I was very stressed with a lot of programs coming on and dealing with different things. And I also joined a classical music class. Oh God, the assignment of the class became a problem for me, and it became additional thing to deal with. I was no longer enjoying the music. Okay, thank God it got over. Okay. Meditation. Yes, there are different kinds of meditation that you can use, and meditation itself also helps in many different ways. And again, those are mentioned here. Not only it reduces stress, but it can help you in focusing, concentrating, enhancing your mood. And again, like exercise, we said, even sitting still in meditation helps you release different kind of hormones and manage your heart rate and breathing and all that, which is if anything stress is disturbing, this can bring it back. Again, meditation, I would personally say do it all through like exercise. Don't wait for stress to hit you to do it as a treatment. Yoga, again, many people misunderstand yoga to be like exercise. It is far beyond that. Again, something that you should try to include all through in your life. And again, yogic stages are all these different ones, and they all have different virtues or benefits of that. And what we usually call yoga are actually only yoga asanas. So that is not yoga, right? There is so much more to it. And especially one of the most powerful one for stress would be deep breathing, what we also call as pranayama, right? Nature can be a great thing to deal with stress. Now it may think, okay, what will nature do? Just gardening, keeping some plants. If some of us do that, we know how much happiness that brings us, other than giving us some clean oxygen to breathe and take away the carbon dioxide. But with nature, it could mean in the water, it could be in the park, it could be doing some farming or some kind of gardening kind of thing, or being in the nature and doing some group activities or bird watching, forest walking, or anything like that. Trust me, if you're not doing anything, please start one of that, even to do once a week kind of thing, and you would totally love it. Time management, very, very important, as you saw in the very first video. Planning and managing your time will help you deal with this. And music is a therapy also, by the way, to even deal with stressful situations, including when you are going through chronic illness. So music has its own benefits in doing all these kind of things, including increasing your memory. So, for children, if they are not able to memorize something, teach them with music, and then you see how fast they learn. That is why young children are always taught those twinkle, twinkle, little star kind of poets. But if you try to teach them, that is star, this is called twinkling, that is called, names can be like this, hill is that, it's very difficult. But if they just got it in their kind of song kind of thing with a rhythm, they learn it faster. Some people learn physics and maths like this. So that's crazy, but yeah, they do. Whew. So with that, that's the end of my presentation, guys, and thank you for bearing with me. I'm now definitely opening it immediately for questions, comments, anything. Time management means, Swati, yeah, that's a very good question. I skipped it because I see this is what assumption does in life. Okay, very bad. I assumed that people know what it means, but that's a mistake. Time management simply means we all have the same 24 hours at our disposal. What and how we utilize the 24 hours and what do we do to utilize that is what makes my 24 hours different than yours, and how productive or how relaxing or how stressful those 24 hours can be. So for example, if I'm feeling that I have to do cooking, I have to, kind of run for my office, I have to do this, I have to do that, and like I have to do shopping, I have to do this and that. Exercising, many of us say, I don't get the time. I know I should get up early, I should go for a walk, I should do exercise, but I'm not getting time. But you know what? What about those who do make time for this? They have the same 24 hours. So what it means is actually scheduling your time, like, make a time sheet from the morning till evening. How am I currently spending my time? Which are the time wasters for me, where I can reduce the time I'm spending and make a productive use of that. Sometimes in the timesheet, put lazy time. Doing nothing is great to have in a timesheet. You should not always 24 hours have something to do. So I hope this is a very short explanation of time management, but probably that's a very good topic to do a separate webinar on. And there are many techniques and tools to use also. Wow. Anything else, guys? Hey, Himanshu, good to see you. Hi, Ziad. All right.
Hello, ma'am.
Any other questions? Hello. Good morning. Good morning. Good to see you. So, low morale is equal to toxic work environment and culture due to bosses. Okay. I'm just reading the chat. If anybody has a question, please raise your hand, unmute yourself.
Archana, there is one comment from me also.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get there. Okay. Is that the take your mind off wala?
No,
Acha, okay, niche aur hai, okay.
no, go slightly up, go slightly up.
Okay. Or would you like to ask me? I mean,
No, you said you take your mind off when you are stressed.
correct.
How do I take my mind off?
By
I'm
distracting
stressed.
yourself with something that's
No,
totally engaging you.
If I'm stressed because I have something to finish,
Huh.
how do I take my mind off that?
That is the point of controlling your mind. Okay. So what I realize, okay, let me tell you in all seriousness what it means. I have at least realized, and now science also says that long working hours when we become less productive, frankly. In anybody's life, perfect human life with no great stress around, you know what is the maximum time we can be very focused and productive in our work? It's less than 3 hours, guys. No, Sanjay, 45 minutes is okay. Yeah, maybe that they need to improve. But basically, even if you think you are one of the best, you can give 2 hours, 55 minutes, or that's a precise number, but basically less than 3 hours in an 8 hours duration. So what we need to do, which are my 3 hours? Make sure that all your creative and thinking related things you're doing at those 3 hours, because some of us are morning people, some of us are afternoon people, some of us are night people. Figure what kind you are, and then keep those 3 hours to do those kind of jobs, and use the rest of the hours to do the rest of the mechanical things. Also, there's so many things that we need to do. Just submit some report or do something that doesn't need too much of your creative thinking space. And again, if you're very stressed because of not having time, then delegation may be something that many of us need to learn. You know, the more I get questions on this, I think time management is definitely a topic we should look at. I would love to do that, or somebody else can do that as well. But yeah, distracting our mind, I have totally been able to do that. It's just that when you know that if you try to sit on something when you're already feeling exhausted is not going to help you. And even if you take 10 minutes break at that time, when you come back, you can finish the job faster and more efficiently and better than I would take consciously that 10 minutes break. Asidji, does that make sense?
Okay, yeah. It does.
Yeah.
It does.
Thanks.
It does.
Thank you. All right. Anything else from anybody, please? I see one more comment somewhere here. Okay.
Sanjay,
How-
45 minutes is only for webinar listening, not for working.
Yeah, I hope actually Sanjay has a point. I would not like to get into that in this webinar, but in the time management one, I think that's a very good point to discuss.
He's already getting stressed out, I think.
No, but actually, no, that's a data also. He is talking about a data we all have 30 minutes to now. If you see even Netflix series episodes, how long is one series? Anybody has noticed?
Yeah, 40 minutes.
30 minutes to 40, 30 minutes, 23
45
minutes,
minutes.
25 minutes.
Typically, it's 45 minutes.
Go again, see the latest ones. And you will
The
see,
OTT ones are all 40 to 45
try
minutes.
that now, latest one, 23 minutes. I'm seeing the reduction happening. Okay, so they're probably reading the data at what time people pause and go away and then they come back or whatever it is. So it's going down. But you know, that's like they are doing it for the entertainment or listening purposes, but work related focus has to be different and we'll have to enhance that, right? Okay, we'll come to that in the time management, guys. I'll not stick to that too much. Ziad has a question on how to manage time in exam hall as last moment of exam brings stress. Okay. Now, actually part of examination preparation, Ziad, a lot of us, or at least the students nowadays are trained on, is how to be fast with doing their question paper. So do you attack? First of all, you go through the entire question paper before you start answering, for example. Then you start, dealing with the answers that you know for sure. And then finish those first. Then come to the ones that are a little difficult and you are not very sure. And then again, choose which one do you want to attempt to and which has more numbers that you want to attempt and get some of it and do like that and do a calculation. But how fast you can write is also a skill that, nowadays young students are taught on. So for example, if you're a person like me, I left an exam midway because I just got tired writing. Okay. I mean, yeah, there could be crazy ones like me. So that happened because I'm a science student, and I realized when I tried to do MA economics, I just got bored. I mean, I just abruptly stopped writing because I thought it's too much to write. So we just have to prepare ourselves. You don't have an option to do such things, right? At the stage of my life when I was doing, I took that risk, but that's not a good thing to do. So I think these are some preparations that we need to get. How to write fast, how to attempt it in the right sequence are two very solid things to do.
Okay, clear.
Yeah. Anything else, guys, before we probably conclude the session? Anybody wants to also share any quick tips on how they have managed to deal with or cope with their stress in life that are not covered, maybe, if there's something I missed out saying. Ziad is
One
happy.
thing would be
Yes,
have a
Mahesh.
pet.
Very true, very true. Actually, that's part of the nature thing. I didn't expand on that, but there was a pet wala thing. Very true, very true. They are awesome.
And
Yeah.
my second thing on your slide, which talked about the curve of the stress.
Yes.
If you are feeling that your work is a stress, then there is something wrong.
Yeah, mismatch. That's not for you, I guess. Mismatch.
So that even in the stress should be there to bring in activity. No, interest should be there to bring in activity. Stress, interest. There should be a difference between interest and stress. A person working with interest will get up early in the morning just to do it. He need not be in the stress.
But I'll
So
tell you,
according
Mahesh,
to me, a definition of stress would start maybe about 40% after the curve has gone up, 40-50% after the up curve.
Yeah.
Because stress, anything you are doing, have interest in it, your stress will go down.
I agree. I agree. But for example, even if I'm doing something absolutely of interest, if there is, it's not time bound, then my even the interest, like I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it later, can come in. But as soon as a time bound thing is come, there is a bit of stress, but that is actually good to do that. I mean, we enjoy
time
it.
management. Time management is very important in that.
Very important. Yeah.
According to
But
me.
very true. I agree with you. I agree with you. So the thing is, the mismatch point that you brought is, I mean, no doubt the biggest one, that when people have become engineers because of other pressure, they didn't know why they have become engineers. Then they are doing a job that they are doing, which they don't know why they are doing. And they wanted to do something else. But, so most of the time related to what Mahesh said is so true. When you deal with people who are stressed and you ask them, what is the stress? I really don't like the life I have. Like my family life is bogus, my work life is bogus, I hate the life that I have. Okay, so what is the life do you want? And they're blank. So what they don't like is very clear, but then what they want is totally blank.
Because they would not have tried out different things.
And you know what? Even self-awareness is missing, Mahesh, because we have been told, do what I'm telling you to do because I know what is good for you. Many of us have grown up in with that kind of background. So what happens is we think I'm not supposed to think for myself, then I'll be selfish. Many people say this. How can I be so selfish? Yeah, if you don't take care of yourself, who is supposed to take care of you? But then that needs a lot of other skills. Like how do you know yourself better? How do you communicate what you're deciding to others around you? Who are your well-wishers, etc.? But that conflict between you and what you're doing can be a biggest stress factor for sure. Whatever you tolerate becomes your reality, Sanjay. So true. Absolutely. Absolutely. So true. And sometimes it's too late by the time we realize that we have to be tolerating the wrong things. And now everybody around us expects us to continue tolerating. And that's the most difficult thing. Like when I started calling somebody sir, just the calling of somebody sir created a particular kind of relationship between me and that person. And many of my peers told, stop calling him sir. That's why he treats you like that. We all call him by name. Call him by name. And how much ever I tried, I cannot suddenly jump from calling somebody sir and then suddenly coming to first name, right? I just couldn't do that. But the learning was by, whenever that boss retired and the new one came, I made sure I don't call sir. And right from day one, I called him by first name, how much ever uncomfortable that was. And it did make a difference, funnily. Yeah, these are some stuff. learning. Great. So if that is it, thank you guys, and thank you for staying on for this time. I am totally apologetic for taking this extra time, but thank you guys. I hope it helped you and helps you stay stress-free.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye,
Thank you
Archana.
so much.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.